Hello everyone and welcome back to my next viewer special, 40,000 views, and thank you everyone for watching my videos. And today I have a brand new strategy for you on Plague Inc. Evolved. This is not going to be a pro strategy, but this will get you basically a victory with the virus on normal mode, which can be a little bit, shall we say, annoying due to the rapidly mutating nature of a virus. If you're not familiar with Plague Inc. Evolved, well, you probably don't care about all this anyway, but for those who do care, this is my genetic code that I personally use. We're going to be playing on normal because I'm not particularly great at the game, but, well, it should be fine. It should be good enough. And a good location to start is usually I prefer Saudi Arabia because then you can spread easily to Africa and Asia while still kind of being close to all these islands down here. You can start in America, but I prefer just starting here. It's either here or Egypt. I guess Egypt might be better, but I prefer Saudi Arabia. I don't know. I don't know why, if it makes really much of a difference or not, but well, I like to think it does. Now, from here, not really much you can do in the first little bit. You just gotta wait for your disease to start getting you some, evolving points or whatever you want to call that. I forget exactly what they call it, but yeah. DNA points, right. My first course of action normally in games like this are to just get my transmission up and running, and then once I get my transmission running, and I'm not talking about the car transmission, I'm talking about the actually, moving the virus around. Normally I prefer water first, just because water has a lot better, I think it's the only chance to get to, one, Greenland and, all these little islands. And if you played this game very much, you realize the hardest places in the game to actually infect are islands. So, and apparently that was the right thing to do because they upgraded the security on the ships. But usually, pound for pound, well, proverbially pound for pound, these are usually the best infectivity things while still not upping your severity. So, again, if you're not familiar with severity, when that starts rising and rising and rising, which rises whenever you have new symptoms, they start working on a cure. And if they cure you, well, that's pretty self-explanatory, that's bad. So we've already spread to South Africa, and I think in one more of those little orange bubbles, I should be able to upgrade my air as well. Yeah, to air, so now we can go by plane or by sea, which is always good. And then after this, I mean, you can try and stem the tide of your virus evolving, but more often than not, it's just not gonna be fast enough. Unless you want to save up your DNA points to get rid of these, more often than not, they're usually not worth it until you start getting like organ failure or the big severity symptoms, as I found. So, I might be wrong, I might not be the most efficient, I don't claim to be the most knowledgeable on this game, I just know what works for me. But usually I try and go for cold resistance, because I want the chance to be able to get to Greenland. Greenland is the one that always screws me over in games. It never gets infected, so I always try and get that like first. It's not very efficient, but that's what I usually do first. And now we're rolling in it. And now Greenland has as much chance to be infected as anybody else. So, yeah. Plus, a lot of the European countries are cold, so usually that helps infecting Europe as well. Now all we gotta worry about is infecting America, Canada, things of that nature. Generally, they're not too difficult. Cis might be a problem. Wait. Yeah, I probably should devolve that. That's worth 1 DNA point to not have that much severity. Definitely. I like that Kickstopper, not Kickstarter. I just noticed that. I don't read a lot of those things up in the top left. I wish I did. That's a good thing to keep an eye on if you're watching this, because I'm sure watching my mouse move around is stimulating and all, but, well, man can't live by mouse alone. We're gonna up our heat resistance. Now, we already started in Saudi Arabia, so we already have some heat resistance, but one more level in it, I think, puts you to, you don't need to increase it anymore. So after that, we're probably going to go toward drug resistance, so we can start infecting the richer countries like the US, Canada, I would imagine the UK, yes, and Australia, France, all those rich nations. And again, I don't want to offend anybody if you live in a nation this game does not consider, rich. I don't judge you. I didn't make it. Don't blame me. I'm just going off what the game says is a rich country and what's not. Okay, so now we've got our most of our setup pretty much in the bag, and we haven't been discovered yet. You will get a little pop-up saying a doctor in probably Saudi Arabia in this game found a disease called PAX 12. And then after that, I think you get a little while longer until they start, you know, curing it or looking up or developing a cure. But the key thing of virus, a lot of people, I would imagine some people level up viral instability right away. I don't agree with leveling it up right away. I do agree with leveling it up eventually, but not quite yet. Because, well, you don't really want it evolving a whole crap load in the first place. I mean, maybe you do, but I don't. I want another water, though, so, you know, it can hopefully get toward Greenland eventually. I know, I'm basing my whole strategy around Greenland getting infected, but oh god, why is it cis? Why is it always cis? And yes, the cost goes up the more you devolve things, so you gotta be a little careful on how much you devolve. Right now I'm just playing stall. I want to stall the game as long as possible before it starts developing a cure. Because once it starts developing a cure, Greenland's gonna shut down its borders. And when Greenland shuts down its seaport, it's almost impossible to infect Greenland. The only thing I think might even infect it at that point would be maybe birds. I don't even know if that does, because that's land transmission. I don't think that goes toward, like, I don't think the birds migrate to Greenland in the first place. Maybe some variety of bird does. I'm not a... I forgot the word for people that love birds again. I don't know why I always forget that crap, but I do. I don't think you really need another thing of air. I guess it might be a good idea, but I'm just gonna start genetic hardening, because once everything gets kicked off, that cure meter's gonna go up really fast. And right now we're just playing the waiting game, waiting for everywhere to be infected while trying to remain under the radar. It's the same basic strategy as the bacteria, but it's a lot harder to pull off because of the nature of a virus. Even if you don't upgrade viral instability, usually it tends to evolve a lot faster than the other ones. We don't need any more heat. Let's see. I guess I could use air, but it doesn't really... We'll go with drug resistance too. Usually it's a good idea to get 2 points in it, because then every place starts getting a lot more infected. Yep. A lot of rich countries, man. Apparently. Or that's just luck on my end. Now, usually, I do not recommend putting points in these specific things like, oh, it increases, you know, in urban areas, and poor areas, and hot areas. I prefer just generic, you know, infectivity. It's usually better bang for your buck because, I mean, there's a lot of, you know, rural countries, but usually you just want the more sustainable. Or at least I do, anyway. I think that's the last genetic hardening, and then after this, it's all gravy, because they're not going to be able to research very easily at all, now that I have 2 points up in that. And the world is starting to burn, and now we don't have to really devolve anything, because... except for Greenland, who's still not infected, but I can't really do much else. Random number... oh, there we go, it's infected now. And that was very important, and holy crap, I have 53 DNA. That is very important. It said... something about the scientists have increased their understanding of inflammation. What that means is if you get inflammation as a symptom, which I think is like right over here somewhere, and you have that in your disease, they cure it a hell of a lot faster. So even if you have a virus, do not let it get inflammation. Do not, if it does get it, you know, devolve it immediately. And might as well have the free points, man. Might as well make it spread all the faster. Ah, yes. We don't want it killing quite yet, and a rash is acceptable. And now we're playing the waiting game and stockpiling our points, and holy crap do we have points. 88 of them, as a matter of fact. They just now realized there might be a problem here. And if I ever pick any of these, it's usually livestock. I usually have trouble getting into rural regions. Well, I guess I kind of do, but... that's infected. That's infected. Morocco's not infected, and it's... is that the only country not infected? No. Is that the only country not infected right now? Morocco is. So you could use the livestock one if you really want to make sure Morocco is going to get infected. I might as well at this point. Doesn't really matter. And it's infected now. There are no healthy countries in the world, so now we play the waiting game, and I guarantee we're going to win this waiting game because we have viral instability. So upgrade that now, and now the game basically wins itself, provided you click the little blue bubbles. Which you should. Vomiting. See, the great thing about it is, because everything's evolving, your infectivity just goes through the roof, so you don't have to wait until everybody in the world is infected. As long as you devolve the lethal ones right away. If you, for example, you have a country like Morocco with very few infected, you don't want them dying real early. The faster they infect with vomiting, hemophilia, is that lethal? I don't remember. No, but it increases infectivity, which is fine. That's great. Okay. Anything that increases infectivity is good right now. Sneezing, fine. That's more infectivity. Should be great. And as soon as everybody is infected, cysts are not lethal. No, they're definitely not lethal. Sure, why not evolve that while we're at it? Wait a minute. Hypersensitivity, I think that's inflammation right there. We don't want to take hypersensitivity or paranoia, because that could possibly lead to inflammation being caught. Or evolved. Pneumonia, I've had that about 5 times in my life. No, wait, it was 6. Yeah, that's miserable. I want them to have that. I've always had problems breathing, ladies and gentlemen. Chronic bronchitis, pneumonia, horrific allergies. My life has been great. Somebody died? How the hell did you die? Well, it doesn't matter. Practically everybody's infected now anyway. The only 12,000 people, so I mean, really, you can pretty much let the internal hemorrhaging go, because that's pretty much it. And as you see, it's up to 35% almost, and there's no healthy people in the world, so now you start with your killing everybody. Get your lethality up. Total organ failure will usually do it quite nicely. And throw a coma in there so it's harder to cure, which I think... Oh no, I was gonna say, oh no, that's inflammation. But yeah, coma I think just basically lowers the research that they have done already, so it's not really that bad, or great either. Anything that increases lethality, get it, man. You want that. Hemorrhagic shock is fantastic. Tumors? Well, I was gonna say, yeah, get them. No, you don't really want tumors, but we're gonna evolve it. Paralysis symptom also makes it harder to cure, so as long as we don't... Oh, crap. Well, it should be fine. They're gonna be dying off soon enough anyway, so... Shouldn't matter if inflammation does mutate, because they're not gonna be able to cure it in time anyway. Now, there are a lot... This is not my favorite kind of, contagion. I prefer one of the parasites. I don't remember what it's called, but yeah, I love, the mind control parasite. I forget what it's called though. We're upping that because it has lethality. And this is pretty much over. I mean, I guarantee this is one. Canada's now in anarchy. Diarrhea. Always interesting. I don't really need that because everybody's already infected. I guess dysentery and all that might be something I could do. Insanity doesn't really matter. Yeah, sure, seizures, throw those in too, and throw the kitchen sink at them while we're at it. And that's it. That is the end of it. I know this is not exactly my normal viewer special, but I was kind of in a hurry tonight. But thank you guys very much for watching. As always, if this helped you, great. I hope it did help someone with virus. I had a little bit of a difficult time getting used to it. I still didn't get a 5-star or 5 biohazard symbols, but yep, thank you guys as always for watching my videos, and sincerely thank you very much. It always brightens my day to see either a comment, a like, anything, so thank you, and hopefully I shall see you guys next time. As always, if you'd like to help support the channel and grow, you may wish to like or even subscribe for easier access to future videos, and hopefully I shall see you next time. Farewell, everyone.